So in one of my earlier videos, I have spoken about 3 elements that go into the making of a product. Now the product could be anything. It could be cushions, it could be home furnishings, it could be organic toys, it could be clothes, it could be fashion accessories, but there are 3 elements that you would take into account while designing a product. Number 1, customer profile. Is your customer looking for those kind of products? So is there a need for the kind of products you are about to include in your range lineup? Secondly, inspiration. And where do you get your inspiration from? Pretty much from everywhere. Now I'll connect a video, I'll put a link to another video which I had done earlier talking about different places you can get your inspiration from, but honestly you can get inspiration from anywhere and everywhere. British fashion designer Paul Smith says that you can find inspiration in everything, and if you cannot, you haven't looked properly. Then we have the concept of wabi-sabi, the Japanese concept of wabi-sabi, where you can find beauty in unusual places. So all you have to do is you have to open your third eye, inner eye. It's not rocket science, it's not a formula, but you have to optimize your inner potential. Last but not the least are the trends. Again, I have done a trends video and I put the link up there. So you have to study what the world is looking for, what are the directions. Let's say I have already started investigating into, actually much prior to 2021, I have already started investigating into what are the trends for 2021. So the trends can happen in furnishings, they can be trends for clothing, apparel, accessories, lifestyle products. So there are trend forecasts for everything. So you have to take into account the customer profile, the inspiration and the trend forecast. So these 3 elements, they will define your parameters, the parameters of your design brief, and we have to work within that design brief to be able to arrive at a particular product. So I take you through the initial phases of designing. You know what, you cannot jump into designing a product right away, you cannot be blasé about it and just go ahead with it. You have to tick a few boxes. So I tell you which ones, what are the questions that you have to answer before you go into including a product in your range lineup. First and foremost, is your customer looking for that kind of a product? Can you see your customer buying that product? So is there a need for it? Is your product satisfying a particular need, or is it filling a gap in the market? That's important. Then you have to establish the product, So second question, and that's the most important question, is will it be unique? So why should anyone buy from you? Why should I was just about talking to someone about t-shirts. Now t-shirts is a highly saturated market. So you have to take into account why would someone buy a t-shirt from you when there are zillions of t-shirt makers available in the entire world. So you have to answer that question. What is your unique selling point? Thirdly, we have to do the competitor analysis and also the feasibility analysis. So you have to see what your competitors are doing, what we call the SWOT analysis. I wouldn't go into SWOT analysis. It's obviously an abbreviation, but I'm pretty sure all of you are familiar with SWOT analysis. Now feasibility, now that's something which is very specific to us fashion designers or textile designers, is we have to see what fabric, what kind of trims and notions. When I say trims and notions, it could be your laces, your braids, your fasteners. So will it be washable, the fabric? Will it be strong and durable? Will it satisfy what your customer is looking for? So all of that, and what kind of tender loving care, what kind of TLC would it take? So all of that you have to answer before you go ahead and decide how and where you'll get your products made. So again, after that, the price. Can I sell it at an optimum price? So each one of us would have a price point, you know, that's kind of expected from our brand. So depending on your brand profile and your market presence, people would expect a certain kind of price from your particular brand. For instance, let's face it, I'm not Louis Vuitton, you know, I cannot sell a bag or a scarf for say $1,000 or $2,000. I have to sell it at a price that a customer expects to pay Deida. I'm also not right at the bottom of the ladder. So I am somewhere in between. So you have to, you are expecting a certain price point from Deida, and I have to see if the product, can I offer my client that particular product at an expected price. So that's very important. We are certified for organic textiles. We have got certification. We are also certified for ethical production. For instance, SEDEX. We are certified SEDEX producers. So we have to be mindful about the fact that if we are saying organic, so it is authentic organic textiles. If we are saying ethical, we have to comply with the parameters of SEDEX audit that happens every year. So every year SEDEX kind of checks on us, and I'll link a video here where I'll tell you about what SEDEX is all about, what GOTS is all about. I have done a video earlier about organic and ethical production. So once we have ticked all of these boxes, that's when I can go and make the product that I'm wanting to include in my range lineup for 2021. Now, this is where it all begins. Okay, so this is what we call the visual diary. So that's where we start. So a visual diary is basically a notebook, like, you know, a blank notebook, which it's not, you can see it's not blank anymore. It's filled with notes, clippings, fabric swatches, anything and everything that you think would contribute to the product. So these are our initial findings. So we practically have quite a few visual diaries, like we would carry a visual diary with us all the time. And you know what, nowadays, like for the digital generation, so a visual diary doesn't necessarily have to be a notebook, a physical notebook. It can also be a virtual notebook. For instance, I use a mobile app called Notes, and I put it on my mobile phone, and you can create different folders there. You know, you can have a fabric reference folder, you can have a print reference folder, you can have a color reference folder, you can have a silhouette reference folder. So silhouette is, you know, the shape, colors all about color, and what kind of fabrics are you looking into, what kind of prints, you know, the print directions. The print directions will, of course, again, you are combining what your customer really likes, what is your inspiration, and the trends, the print trends, you know, the trends that we derive, we get from different trade shows and, you know, different textile fairs. So that's where we get the print references from, and from that we select, we cull a few which we think would synergize with our wider collection. So all of that, all your musings, all your jottings, all your little notes and scribbles, all of that goes into the visual diary. So be it like a formal notebook, a physical notebook, or a digital notebook. Okay, so then out of that, you know, the initial visual diary, we come to our mood boards. Now, what is a mood board? A mood board is not a defined range lineup, so it doesn't tell you exactly what your products would be. It just gives you a sense of direction. So basically mood board should have your fabric boards, it should have your color boards, and it should also talk about silhouettes. So that is my foundation. So mood board is like the foundation of a strong building. So if you have a good mood board, you can go ahead and create a very strong, very sound range lineup. Now I would show you my fabric board is coming, is developing quite well this year. So you can see that I've got my colors there, all my 2021 colors. I've got different kinds of prints. So I have the dots and spots, I have the florals, I have the basic, the basic fabrics like linen, cotton, this is like fine voile, I've got the plaids, I've got the animal prints. So whatever suits your design, whatever suits your thoughts, but this is something that I would put right in front of me. So that's how I open my inner eye. I would keep looking at my fabrics, I'd keep looking at my colors when I design. But you would say, Samita, I mean, this is quite big and bulky. So does it have to be such a big, does it have to be such a big board? Not essentially. Again, you can do your virtual mood boards. You can do it digitally, and this is a printout of a digital mood board. I have only printed this because I wanted to show it to you, but this is, this is my color reference, like my color and silhouette board. So you can see what are the shapes, what is the theme, obviously it's an eco theme, and what are the different colors, the silhouettes, the colors, the theme, everything. So the mood board should convey to you, and not only to me, to anyone, even if a stranger is coming to have a meeting with me, I can show this to him and it should be obvious what is it that we are trying to convey. Are we trying to create something organic? What are our colors? What are our shapes? So that's what a mood board should convey. So that's your color reference. So, and this is your fabric reference. So the different kind of fabrics that we are working with. Also, a few of your silhouettes and things like that. So a few pointers to the trends. This is the trend board actually. So you can cull the trends from from the macro trends. You can select a few which suits your product, your concept, your design, your inspiration, and put it on the mood board. So the mood board is not quite defined, but it's a generic kind of, it's an overview of what we can expect from you in 2021. Let me take you through at least a couple of, say, 2 case studies, 2 examples. So the first thing, I'd talk about my Australia scarves, which have proved to be very popular, but how did we arrive at the whole thing? So we went around looking for something which would convey the essence of Australia to someone who's, say, visiting Australia, or someone overseas, or someone who is in love with Australia. I didn't want anything very touristy, no fridge magnets, no tea towels, but something which would be a little more polished comparatively, a little more unique. And that's where we went around looking for products, and we found a gap in the market. So we thought we would, Australia is known for its unique flora and fauna. So we went about looking for, investigating a little deeper into that unique flora and fauna, and we thought about creating a product range that would reflect the unique flora and fauna of Australia. I mean, Australia has plants and animals which you'd find nowhere else in the world, and we wanted to project that. We wanted to uphold all of that, popularize it through our own design ranges. So how did we go about it? Okay, fine, we got this spanking new, mind-blowing idea, but the best of ideas come to naught if nothing is done with it. So, we decided that the next step would be investigation and research, and for about 1 year we travelled. We went to botanical gardens. I went several times to the botanical gardens. There are, in Melbourne we have 2 botanical gardens, out of which the lesser known one is totally dedicated to Australian plants. We went there several times. We went to the botanical gardens in Sydney, and then we travelled around, you know, we went into regional Victoria, we went into regional different parts of regional towns of other states in Australia, the landscapes, you know, the times, the rugged landscape, its beauty. We must have taken thousands of pictures. I'll share a collage of the different pictures. It's not possible to show you all 1,000, but I'd share a few with you. And finally, we zeroed in on a few particular images of flowering plants, and then, you know, we decided to put those flowering plants on our products, our scarves for instance. We have also a range of furnishings which we are wholesaling right now. So, then the practical nitty-gritty of the collection, you know, what to print on, you know, will it be washable, will it stay for a while, will the print show up in those kind of fabrics. Again, we tried working with different fabrics. We tried silk, we tried modal, we tried cotton, linen, everything. Then we finally, you know, zeroed in on silk modal, silk for the luxury and the softness, and modal, a little bit of modal to give it a little bit of strength. So, and it was taking printing very well. So, we decided on digital printing because we felt only digital printing would do justice to the colors of Australia, and most importantly for us, digital print is eco-friendly, you know, there's no waste, it's not polluting. So, it was digital printing for us. And the other fabric, we thought this would be good for spring and light winters, and the other fabric we decided was linen. As mentioned earlier, I am in love with linen, and I think linen it's ideal for summer scarves. It's so comfortable and it's so elegant and it drapes so well. So, it was finally silk and it was finally linen for us. And that was about Australian flora, you know, the flowers, the plants, all good. But what about Australian fauna, the animals, the birds? Australia has unique birds and animals which are not found anywhere in the world, and they are very cuddly, they are very lovable. So, how do we, you know, depict these animals, Australia's animal kingdom, in our product range? How do we uphold, say, a kangaroo or a koala or a wombat or a quokka? So, you know, again, we didn't want to do something which is just a souvenir, a mere souvenir. So, we wanted to do koalas, we wanted to do kangaroos, but we wanted to have our, you know, we wanted that our koalas and kangaroos should have an identity of their own. Otherwise, again, as I said, unique selling point. What's the difference between us and those dozens of shops in the CBD which would sell you a koala toy, a koala souvenir, a koala on your hat, a koala on your pencil? So, what would be the difference between us and the random koalas? So, we went ahead and we did a lot of research again. What fabric, you know, what kind of filling, what kind of toys. So, we went and looked at fur, fake fur, we recycled fur, organic fur, we went into the plush toys, we went and looked into other, you know, different kinds of materials, but then we looked around, you know, in our studios, we suddenly saw we have remnants of organic cotton lying around, you know. So, suddenly, you know, we had that light bulb moment. I always work on my instinct, my light bulb moment, and I said, why not these organic cotton leftover shreds that we have to throw away anyway. So how about recycling them? So what we did, we used up all our leftover organic cotton to make the shell of the toy. So that was sorted, but what about the filling? Initially we thought obviously polyester filling, a big no-no for Deidaac, and then cotton. Cotton is soft, cotton is nice, but cotton also becomes lumpy with use, especially if it's dunked in water and things like that. So no cotton, no polyester. So for a moment, like, we were stuck, one of those deadlocks, when the design doesn't move ahead, doesn't progress. So we thought, what would we do now? Then we thought about PET or plastic bottles. So as you know, plastic bottles are one of the worst offenders when it comes to pollution. So we thought, why not use plastic bottles? So now we didn't just chop up plastic bottles and put it in our toys. No, we would never do something that's unhygienic. I understand these are for little people and they are very precious to you and they are very precious to us. So we have to be mindful of the safety and health requirements. So we sent all our plastic bottles to a state-of-the-art facility, and that facility processed all of these plastic bottles into polyester fiber, and that's what went inside our organic toys. Now the ideas, which ones to include, which specific toys, which ones to reject. So we, you can see we made so many, different animals, different concepts, different characters, different ideas that would be revolutionary. So we have here, not only we did not want to confine ourselves with toys that were with animals that were just Australian, so we wanted to include a wider range of animals and characters and ideas and concepts. So what we did is we made a whole lot of these, the unicorn, the wombat, the multicultural dolls. But finally we decided to zero in on these 6 characters, the 6 animals: the kangaroo and the joey, the owl, of course the koala, the bunny, the Easter bunny, and the duck. And we had to have the dog because this is a replica. He is Hot Dog and he is inspired by Deidaac dog Simba. So Simba is more fuzzy, he is a groodle, but this one, Hot Dog doesn't exactly look like Simba, but he is definitely inspired by Simba. And Ukali Koala has become our mascot, Deidaa's mascot since then. He's also contributed to the bushfire recovery. So in this video, I took you through the initial phases of designing. So what is it that actually happens at the Deidaac studios? I took you through the visual diaries, the mood boards, fabric boards, color reference, fabric reference, silhouette reference, all of that. And I also took you through how we have created 2 of our most successful collections. In the next video, I will also tell you a little bit about how do we actually do the storyboarding. So if you liked this video, do not forget to do 3 things, the like, comment, share and subscribe. So that's very important. I have put all of my URLs, like my website, my social media handles. Follow us there. Your participation, your comments, your likes, your shares mean a lot to us. That's how we grow. And your feedback, what is it that you would want us to make? Which are the toys? Let's put a question. What toy did you like best? So those kind of things keep the dialogue going. Join us for Facebook Live every Sunday at 5 o'clock. Bye for now. So this is Samita signing off, and till next time, bye for now.